Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Monmouth Park on Saturday is the Grade 3 Philip H. Iselin. These are older horses going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at this field because it features, as your morning line favorite, a horse that might have a say in some major races in the fall. That's the number 4 Zozo, 6-5 on the morning line for Brad Cox. And Mike, if you remember, this horse was very briefly on the Kentucky Derby Trail in 2022, finishing second to Epicenter in the Louisiana Derby. After he didn't run very well in the Derby, they gave him plenty of time, and it seems to have paid off with 3 consecutive triple-digit buyer performances.
Yeah, he's been really good in his 3 most recent starts for sure, Dan. They're just sort of taking it easy with him here. They're going to give him one more shot, against maybe some weaker competition in a race like this, and then it's wide open for them at the end of the year. He runs well here. They could run him in some major races, and that handicap division seems like it's a little bit up for grabs right now.
And his best asset is his speed. As we throw up the Timeform US pace projector, he is versatile. He has won from off of it, but in a situation like this, one would expect Zozos to get to the lead in a situation that favors front runners.
Yeah, he's got really good speed. It doesn't seem like they're going to be going that fast early in this race. Florent Giroux's job is just to get him out of the gate, I think, in this race, Dan. Put him on the front and see what happens.
What does one do with the number 1? Wayburn? This horse is a graded stakes winner. He has run fast races in his career, but his most recent start, his first race for Todd Pletcher, the Grade 2 John A. Nehrude, was not good at all, going 7/8 of a mile. And I don't know he didn't break very well, but he also didn't pick up his feet.
Yeah, it was a very disappointing performance in that first start for Pletcher. Obviously, he's better than that. I don't know if they've mentioned that there was some kind of excuse coming out of that race or not. But Pletcher will come right back here, stretch him out a little bit, and run him in a Grade 3 race where he fits very well on form, Dan. I personally have always believed this horse was better going shorter, but with the right kind of trip against the right kind of field, he can certainly get this far.
Steel Sunshine is the number 2. This horse was the beaten favorite last time out at Gulfstream Park. We're going to watch that race. He was a heavy chalk. He's in and among horses turning into the stretch. He is going to get into the clear. He will run on at the end. But I have serious questions against the overall quality of the field he was facing in here. And I think at odds on, he's supposed to get it done.
I agree with that. I didn't really think he had some kind of huge excuse. And he runs fine. The horse that beat him that day is in good form right now. So, maybe that's, something that you don't want to be too concerned with. He's another horse, though, who I kind of feel like is a little bit better going shorter than he is going longer. They're going to stretch him back out or keep him around 2 turns for this race, Dan. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if he was competitive. I just can't say that I love him in this race.
He's been solid throughout his career, a multiple stakes winner, 7 and a mile. We'll see if the mile and a 16th is going to be up his alley. That's Steel Sunshine, a horse that might be at his best when he gets something to run at. The 3 is Far Mo Power, who's also cross-entered at Parks early next week. And this horse earned a triple-digit buyer speed figure in 2022 when he was the victim of a rather unfortunate disqualification in the Parks Dirt Mile. He's a solid horse on the Mid-Atlantic Circuit in the handicap ranks. I'm not sure if he's really of the quality of a graded stakes horse, but he'll give you a good effort every time.
Yeah, I feel like this race could just wind up being a little too tough for him, but he's going to show up and run his race, Dan. He's in good form right now. His trainer is a really underrated guy. He gets his horses in the right spots, and they tend to show up. I don't know. This is kind of horse I could easily use underneath. I don't think I'd take him on top.
Beaten favorite in his last 3 races, including the race we just saw, where he would end up finishing 3rd. Zozos is the number 4, 3 consecutive wins coming into this race for Brad Cox, all with triple-digit buyers. I thought he ran very well in the Hanshin, going sort of that 1.5 turn configuration at Ellis Park, where he showed good speed. Just shrugged off the other 2 pace setters in a race run in a driving rainstorm, and I liked the way he kicked it in the final 16th of a mile.
I agree with you. I liked his last race a lot. His prior 2 performances were really good as well. That 2-turn race at Fairgrounds back in March, he ran really well that day to beat a decent field. And the last 2 going a little bit shorter, but you don't worry about this horse stretching out to a mile on the 16th, Dan, and he's supposed to be on the lead here at a short price.
Number 5, Trademark, comes into this race in very good form for trainer Vicky Oliver. Let's watch this one's last start. This was at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, over a wet track. Trademark's had a good trip just off the pace. He's going to make the lead, and he's going to best a pretty sharp horse. The one on the inside, 5-star General, would go out to Emerald and win the Long Acres Mile last week with a 97 buyer.
Yeah, this is a good performance. Maybe the best race that Trademark's ever run. I like the form that he's getting into right now, Dan. The horse that he's running down in this race that you just mentioned, of course, is Zozos, also beat back at Fairgrounds in March. It's a good performance for this horse. He's got great tactical speed too. I think he needs to take one more step forward.
Completing the field is Waylon Springs, who might have found a home at Monmouth Park. He won his debut over the circuit 2 starts back. And then last time out in the Monmouth Cup, he put a little bit of a scare into the big favorite Proxy, who had everything his own way on the lead. Waylon Springs made a giant move on the turn to get into contention. And here Proxy's class and maybe his tactical advantage got the better of Waylon Springs.
Yeah, this is a good performance. I remember you mentioning this horse to me before that Monmouth Cup when we did the preview for it, that you thought he ran really well in his prior race. You were right. He was a good second in here to Proxy. Listen, this race probably isn't as tough as that last one, although I think you could argue that Zozos might be a little bit better horse than Proxy is. I guess that all remains to be seen.
It's nice to see that he's tactical enough that he can be adaptable to any sort of pace scenario. Perhaps he'll be in closest attendance to the favorite early. We take a look at our top selections for the feature race at Monmouth on Saturday. Zozos is just going dead red right now. We think he's going to make it 4 in a row. We both go 4-5.
Just a good spot for this horse, Dan. He's going to be a short price. I realize that. I just didn't really feel like I could bet against him in here.
We'll see if Zozos can stretch his ability to 1 mile and a 16th in the Philip H. Iselin at Monmouth. Good luck.